Hello again. I know I kind of did a small playtest of my game beforehand, but I want to do it more in depth and with a little bit more practice that I've done for myself, so you could better understand the game and learn more about it. The asset I'm using for the characters are just marbles. I'm a little lonely today. I'm the only one in the house, so it's just me playing the game, unfortunately. Um, And I've got the key here, so we know where everything is. We've got about 9 player cards that we're going to use 3 at a time. And then we got some brief rules. They're not polished or anything, but it's to my understanding at the very least. And we're also going to need some scratch paper and a calculator. So if you remember the gist of the game, basically you have to level up all of these monster cards that you have, or creature cards I call them, by defeating loads of zombies. You get rewards from mystery boxes, you get currency that you could use in the markets. You've got checkpoints, so in case you die here, you spawn there, and you don't have to, walk all the way back, I mean? It's just gonna take a long time. And to win, you have to defeat this boss, specifically. So, without further ado, let's start. We start by rolling a d6 dice. I'm a little bit far, I'm sorry. We got a 1, so we only move one space. Boom. Let's roll again, because I'm the only one here. Boom. We roll a 6, hooray. Let me see here. What do I want to do? I'd say let's go head first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's beat his butt. So the standard zombie only has about 10 HP. So let's figure out how we're going to do this. I decide to use the frog for this battle. So I'm going to have us go first. We roll a 20-sided dice, and we get an 8. So we multiply 8 by 1, and what do we get? Just an 8. So the zombie will lose 8 HP, meaning it's only left with 2 HP. So when the zombie goes, you do exactly the same thing. You just roll a 20-sided dice. It rolls a 9, meaning your frog is only level 1. It starts out with 10 HP. So it loses 9 HP. It only has 1 health left. So for my strategy for this one, that's when I would probably bring out the deer in turn of the frog. It does have healing powers. It can heal, ignore the 5, I don't know why I put that. It could heal about ×1 times whatever number that you roll in the 20 dice. So you get a 16, meaning and I would like to use that ability for the frog, so it's completely healed now. It's back to 10 HP. Does that make sense? I decided something a little better for this game. What if it just went up to 16 HP? Because it would make no sense, because you could power these guys up anyway. It's 16 HP now. I would probably write that down on your sketch paper. So that's gonna formally end that turn, because you used this turn to heal your frog. So the zombie's gonna go again. Roll 20. You get to 10. Your deer is down. Your deer's down. And you're gonna have to bring out somebody else. I'm gonna bring out the fox. They're about all the same HP for now, because they're all level 1, so it doesn't really matter. But our goal is to beat that boy. So let's roll 20 again, and we get a 5. That zombie formerly had 2 HP before this, so that zombie's gone, and we get to move forward. We won! This one, at least. So after each round, you get to roll a 4-sided dice, and it's going to give you a certain amount of currency. So you rolled a 1, and let's see what that is. If you roll a 1, you get 10 zombie guts. So let's write that down. So you could use at the currency shop. So I'm going to test out the currency box in the shop just to kind of see how that goes. And then afterwards, I'm probably going to go see about that mystery box too. And after that, I'm just going to play the game until maybe one of these gets to level up, and I'll show you how that works too. So let us roll the 6-sided dice. We got 2. 1, 2. We're alone here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You roll a 4-sided dice for currency. You roll a 3. We get 50 zombie guts. So we just, it's, yeah. Now you got 60 zombie guts now. Hooray! I'll roll 6 again. Got a 3, so let's go 1, 2, 3. You get to use the shop. I know my deer needs health, so I'm probably just gonna max this out, man. Let's buy 60 zombie guts worth of health. So it's up to increases the HP by 5. So if it increases by 5, so 6 times 5 would be 30. So the deer would go all the way up to 30 HP. And it's back. So I rolled a couple more times enough to dodge all these zombies and get into the mystery box. In order to get stuff from the mystery box, you have to roll a 4-sided dice. So let us do that. We rolled a 1. And unfortunately, we were very unlucky. And we have to defeat an enemy. So let's do that. So I did that battle real quick. And it was a little messy. The frog now has 13 HP, fox has 5 HP, and the deer is now down to 2 HP. So I'm starting to learn that this game can really turn the tables fairly quickly. So I wanted to show you something a little interesting about this game that I just encountered. So I was just going around, just playtesting all these zombies, and it came to the point where my deer and my frog were literally dead. But I was able to rack up about 120 ZG. So I went up to the shop and I bought what's called armor, which you could get for about 100 ZG, and it increases one of your monster's HP by 10 permanently. So I got that for my deer because I noticed that it is a very strong asset in my team. She revives anybody here, so, she's important. I also managed to revive my fox and my frog with only so much HP to spare. I'm starting to realize how difficult this game might be, and I'm starting to find a little bit of errors, but that's the point of playtesting. Alright, so I was finally able to buff up my deer enough to be up to 40 HP, so we now have Mir, a little bit more buffed up version of the deer, and it's also able to increase HP by ×3, so it is a rather powerful asset. I guess thoughts that I could say so far from playing this game is that the concept of armor is a little bit overpowered, knowing that now that you have armor, you can't exactly be eliminated from the game. So technically you just keep rolling a 20-sided dice until you win any one of these games, and it just becomes a little tedious. But I'm going to keep playing until I'm done, and then I'll have my final thoughts later. We have a cat joining us. Other than that, so I gained enough currency to give my deer 2 more armors. And what did that do? It turned it into a moose. I'm starting to realize how rigged this game is. I think it's a good concept. I just need a lot of refurbishing. But I'm going to continue and see what else happens. So I decided to do like a little experiment. I wanted to just go all the way over here, even though that all my animals aren't exactly all leveled up, right? But my deer is so far, so I'm gonna see what happens. So let's get to it, shall we? So we roll a 20-sided dice. I got an 11. So what we do is that we times 11 by 3. Where's my pen? Alright, so that's 33. I don't need a calculator for that. So that would be... Okay, so the boss zombie in general has about 1,000 HP. So we're going to subtract that by 30. Now they're down to 970. So, um, it's gonna take a long battle, man. I'm just gonna keep going. I'll tell you how it goes later. Alright, so just as I suspected, it is pretty easy to defeat the final boss. It does take a long time, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of freaking math, but at the end you already know that you're gonna win because you have the armor, and that's permanent, from what I've read from my own rules. And it's a little unfair because this boss could actually be really difficult if that kind of component, the permanent component of the armor, was just taken away. I have my final thoughts on the Google Slides. I have some stuff written down. Overall, that cat is cute. But overall, I like my concept. I'm big on art. I like to create characters, but game design is really new to me. And I understand the trial and error of this so far. I don't know, just do some refurbishing, because some of the things that I have in my game, it's like, it defeats the purpose. Like, why would you go to a level 3 monster when you could just go to like a level 1 monster and roll the same dice for the same prize and you get the same thing, you know? Like, there should be a way to, like, just because your monster is strong enough to defeat one of these doesn't mean that it gets a bigger prize, and I think that's not fair. But yeah, that's the whole point of, you know, playtesting first. Now I know a couple things that could be tweaked with this game to make it even better. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please critique. I'm down for it. I know this game isn't perfect at all, but so far I'm really liking the story that I've had for it so far, and yeah.